and welcome to my channel. My name is Brian Hussar, and I make my videos at random when my children allow me. Like right now, they're currently at school, and Daddy's got the home to himself. So Daddy can do this now. I post about my love of the Beatles, my love of music, movies, and physical media. If you like any of that stuff in any of those configurations, please hit subscribe. I'm getting up there. I'm up to 760. Thank you all who are joining the cult of Brian. Maybe I'll get to 1,000 at some point. Now, All Things Must Pass, the 50th anniversary of All Things Must Pass. I did get the CD, deluxe edition, super deluxe edition, with the five CDs and the Blu-ray, and because I wanted to hear if the issues with the vinyl edition are correct. But I did get the 8-disc vinyl set. There you can see. And I'm going to show you what's in at least the CD packaging. The CD does come in a 7-inch beautiful box. I'll get to that. And you get a booklet, which is even bigger and much more beautiful in the vinyl set. There's some nice photos in here. Kind of lacking on session information, which I would have liked more of, and I'll get to that. You get a miniature version of the poster that came with the record. The CDs are housed in kind of these right here. This is the main All Things Must Pass CD, and then the outtakes and session stuff, and of course the Blu-ray. No lyrics in the deluxe edition CD set. I found out that if you got the normal 3-disc CD set, the lyrics are printed on the back of the poster. But nothing here. You have to get the vinyl box set to get the lyrics. Now, when somebody does a remix or a new mix, if you're going to do a new mix of a classic album, there has to be a reason for it. And some of the new mixes of things I question. But in the case of the Beatles stuff, a great example is Sgt. Pepper. The idea of doing a new stereo mix for Sgt. Pepper by Giles Martin was to do a stereo mix that they couldn't do for technological reasons back in 1967. And it was a way of taking the best of what actually worked in the Beatles-approved mono mix and what actually worked in the stereo to create a new proper stereo mix. Same thing could be said for the White Album and Abbey Road. It was trying to come up with, do a new stereo mix with technology they didn't have back then. And if they had a lot of the technology we have nowadays, what would they have been able to do if they really spent a proper amount of time on a stereo mix? In the case, and that makes total sense. And in the case of All Things Must Pass, this was an attempt to fulfill George's wishes that he had around the time he was getting very sick, to bring more of the songs and instrumentation to the forefront. If we all still own that 2001 CD, I know I still have it, and we see George's notes in there where he said he really wanted to remix the tracks and get some of that reverb out. I mean, and all these years I'm of two thoughts. I mean, if you're going to hire Phil Spector to co-produce with you, the pre-arrest psychotic Phil Spector, although he was always psychotic, poor Ronnie, and I mean, rest in peace. I hope he finally found some peace in his life. But if you're going to hire him to do a job, you're going to want him to do River Deep Mountain High. You're going to want him to do Be My Baby. You're going to want him to do You Lost That Love and Feeling. And that was essentially what you got on this album. This was an attempt to fulfill George's wishes. Now, I'm going to say this doesn't really despectorize things. You do still have the big sound on Wah Wah. but you also have a lot more instrumentation brought to the fore. You especially have George's vocals brought to the forefront. Sometimes it benefits the ballads. The ballads have a much more drier and present sound. I mean, you hear that right off the bat on I'd Have You Anytime, the opening track. It does bring the vocal and the instrumentation to the forefront. I really think it works on Behind That Locked Door, because I always felt that was a great country tune, and I always felt Behind That Locked Door is such a great country tune, and with the amount of reverb on that track, it should be a much more intimate sound, and I could really appreciate Pete Drake's emotional pedal steel solo on this one. I really can. So I liked that. I do like the fact that songs like Wah Wah and Let It Down have a balance with the Phil Spector wall of sound, bringing George's vocal to the forefront, and being able to make out things like the horn line on Wah Wah, being able to make out the horn line and the vocal on Let It Down. But it doesn't totally lose the wall of sound, so it's not truly despectorized, which I kind of like. I like the fact that they didn't go too far with it. I know a lot of people feel they have. There's a YouTube channel I follow on here where he said for him it's a yin and yang. What we gain in this version, we also lose. Like on My Sweet Lord, his example was he liked the mystery in George's vocal, whereas now George's vocal is brought more to the forefront. Same way with his slide playing. And I could see that. That's not my view of it, but I can totally see that. I like the fact that I can hear the vocals on, the backing vocals on the Ballad of Sir Frankie Crisp. You now can hear that electronically altered slow "Oh, Sir Frankie Crisp" part, which supposedly was done by Ringo, somebody told me. Interesting if that's true. I like the fact that I could appreciate Klaus Vormann's contribution to the rhythm section on a lot of the tracks. I will say that I like this new mix for what it is, for what it's supposed to be. So I didn't go into this expecting it to be reminiscent of the original mix. I expected it to be a radical change. It's not too radical of a change, and I'm happy. But I could understand a lot of people getting upset that the vocal is a lot drier. I feel Isn't It a Pity works a lot better now because it builds and builds and builds. And I like the fact that I'm able to hear a Moog synthesizer now, which I never was able to hear on the release version. I was amazed at how many synthesizers are actually on that one. So that was a nice treat. The Apple Jam is not remixed. And if people want to know about that, that's because those were recorded live on 2-track. So there's no multi-track for that. So you get another remaster now of the Apple Jam. But I don't know about you. I've always considered the Apple Jam separate from the rest of the album. I know it's called a triple album, but George always thought of it as a double album with a bonus record. I don't have any issues with the mixes themselves. I like the new mixes. It doesn't replace the original, and I appreciate it for what it's supposed to be. An attempt to fulfill George's wishes and bringing the songs more to the forefront. Now, the things I don't like. Cost. Value for your money. Value for your money. The CD set was $138. It really didn't even go down in price on anything. And I usually go to Bull Moose and other sites to see if it goes down in price. I got more information in the plastic Ono Band set for the same amount than I did here. The booklet. I like session information. I like extensive liner notes. And I didn't get that in the booklet here. I got a brief conversation between Donnie and producer Paul Hicks about the new mix and the session information. But I would have liked great session details, like who played on what track and when they played on it, when the final mix was, when overdubs happened. I like that. I would have loved like an essay from a rock scholar out there. Normally they pick David Frick. Maybe extensive liner notes from Olivia, or thoughts from Patty from that period. Maybe even thoughts from Eric Clapton or Ringo. And the size of this John Lennon Plastic Ono Band CD set. Look at this. Why couldn't they do this? Or put it in a 12-inch vinyl cover like this. You could have easily done that for this thing. So those are my complaints there. But about the outtakes, just briefly here, let me say, if you own the Beware of Abgo bootleg CD and you're on the fence about this one, throw your Beware of Abgo bootleg away. Just like when the White Album box set came out, I said if you own the bootlegs of the Escher demos, they're worth absolutely nothing now. They did a really good job with those sessions that were on the Beware of Abgo bootleg. Did a really good job on the demos. They sound amazing. I would have liked more jams on the jam session disc. I would have liked more. I'm sure there's got to be an extended edition of Out of the Blue. Since they got the Apple Jam on here, I would have loved if they would have included some of the complete jams from that session. The Beware of Abgo stuff, which is disc, that would have been, let me get my track listing out. Wednesday, 27th of May, 1970, disc 2. But there is a good jam on here, 12-bar Honky Tonk. That's a really good jam. So overall, I like the mixes. I like the outtakes. I would have just liked a bit more value for my money. Definitely, that's where I'm going with this. Packages are beautiful. I just would have liked, like I said, I'm a simple guy. Give me some extensive liner notes. Give me some session details, And I'm sure a lot of that's probably in the Uber Duber Super whatever deluxe edition. I mean, you got the Uber one. I guess I got the Lyft. So there you go. But those are my thoughts on the set. Overall, I like it. Just would have liked a bit more for the amount that I paid for these. Like I said, a great comparison with the 5-disc set is the John Lennon Plastic Ono Band set for the same amount of money. A lot more is jam-packed into that set. And they could have taken some steps from what Yoko and Sean did with the Imagine set and the Plastic Ono Band set. I think those are top-notch. But overall, I give the set, if I'm going to give it a grade, which I don't usually do, I'd give it a B. But I would say if you are a Beatlemaniac, a fan of George, it is a must-have. But don't get upset. The original 1970 mix is not going away. I don't know if this is going to be my go-to, although I like it. I like it. I like the new mixes a lot. I mean, I'm going to say that. But it doesn't take away anything from the original 1970 mix. So you have an option here of which way to go. So that's the good thing about this. Doesn't take away from 1970. This is just a different take if George was able to fulfill his wishes. That's the way I look at it. Give me some of your thoughts. If you got that Uber set, please let me know how it is. I've seen the unboxings, and I'm glad you enjoy it. I have no room, man. Even if I was able to get it and I get that big chest in the mail, look at me. I work on that side of the office here. This is my DVDs, and I got stuff in the back over there. I got no room, man. If I had some room, I might have been able to mortgage my house to get it. But let me know your thoughts, and I'll talk to you soon.